Good morning. I'm Dr. P. Mary Anupama, and this is my third video on antigen-antibody reactions that deals with agglutination reactions and complement fixation tests. So the contents of this particular video includes principle of agglutination reaction, mechanism of agglutination, the slide agglutination test, tube agglutination test, and complement fixation test. Coming to the principle of agglutination. In precipitation, we have seen that the nature of antigen is it's a soluble antigen, while here the nature of antigen is it is a particulate antigen. So when a particular antigen is mixed with that antibodies, respective antibodies in the presence of an electrolyte under suitable conditions of temperature and pH, these particulate antigens, they are clumped or they agglutinate. They are agglutinated. The antibodies of the serum which causes the cellular antigens to form these clumps, they are called as agglutinins, and the particular antigens that are getting aggregated during these reactions, they are called as agglutinogens. This reaction occurs optimally when antigens and antibodies react in equivalent proportions. Coming to the mechanism of agglutination. Agglutination, it occurs due to the cross-linking of antigen with the antibodies. We see that an antibody can bind to two antigens. It has two antigen binding sites. So here, a single antibody cannot form these clumps. While if it is an IgM, it has 10 antigen binding sites because it's a pentamer, and it can lead to the formation of good clumps. These tests, they are widely used in the clinical fields, and they may be classified as macroscopic when they are carried out in small test tubes, or they may be called as microscopic tests when the antigen and antibody are mixed on a slide and examined under microscope. So here you can see antibodies and the RBC are antigens. When they are mixed, you form RBC. You see that RBC are agglutinated. So this is what is agglutination. First, let us see slide agglutination test. It is used to determine the presence of agglutinating antibodies. Coming to the protocol that is involved, uniform suspension of antigen is taken, a drop of saline is added, and then it is raw. To this you add antibodies and then again rock it. You see agglutination, which indicates positive results. And the conformation of agglutination you can see in the microscopes. This test is done for blood agglutination, that is hemagglutination, and even for cross-matching. The most important slide agglutination test is the hemagglutination test, which is used for determining blood groups. Erythrocytes, when mixed with a homologous anti-serum, they agglutinate, and this is because of the surface antigens which are present on the erythrocytes. We humans are classified into 4 groups based upon the surface antigens. We have O blood group, A blood group, B blood group, and AB blood group. O blood group, they do not have either A or B antigens. A blood group, they have the antigen A. B blood group, they have the antigen B. While AB blood group, they have antigens A and B on their cell surface. So here, a person having blood group A and blood group B or O or AB, they have different antibodies in their serum. So here, O blood group, they do not have any surface antigens, while their serum consists of antibodies against A as well as B, that is anti-A and anti-B antibodies. Now coming to a person having blood group A, they have surface antigen CA, but their serum consists of antibodies against B. Then coming to B blood group person, the cells have antigen B, while the serum consists of antibodies against A. And coming to the last blood group, AB, they have both the antigens on their surface, while they do not have any antibodies in their serum. So when you add these anti-sera to these cells, the following things can be seen. Say for example, to this particular RBC, which have no antigens, that is in the case of O blood group, even when you add antigen A and antigen B, antibodies against A and antibodies against B, no agglutination is seen. Even if you add anything, no agglutination is seen over here because of the absence of antigens. But when it comes to a person having A antigens, RBC having A antigens, when you add this blood of O group or even blood group of B, since they have these antigens on their surface, they agglutinate. That is, these anti-A antibodies combine with the antigen A on the surface, leading to agglutination. So here also, when you mix O blood group with this particular person, RBC, they agglutinate. And in this case, you have B blood group. When you add O blood group person's blood with this person's blood, it will lead to agglutination. And when you add a blood from A also, what will happen is, since the A blood group person will have antibodies against B, so here they tend to agglutinate. While when it comes to AB person, since they have both the antigens, even if you give blood from A, B or O, all of them they agglutinate. So they can take blood only from their group. So here no agglutination will be seen only when you add blood from AB. So based on this, they determine who are the donors and who are the acceptors. You can see that a O blood group person, there is no agglutination. So they can donate blood to anyone since they don't have any RBC on their surface. There is no agglutination even when you add any of these things. But here, when it comes to A, agglutination is seen when you give blood from O or B. So they can receive blood only from A and AB. Same way with B, they can receive blood from B and AB, while blood group AB people, they can receive blood only from them. So here you see that since there are no antibodies in this, there is no agglutination. So A blood group is given to AB blood group person. AB blood group person is given to AB blood group person. So these are the principles which are used for determination of blood groups of the individual. So generally what they do is they take a slide, just make a prick with a sterile needle on the finger and add 2 drops on either ends of the slide. Then they add little saline and then add the anti-sera. To one drop they add anti-serum A and to the other drop they add anti-serum B. So anti-serum A, type A serum, and this is type B serum. In type A serum they have antibodies B, while type B serum has antibodies A. So when if the donor blood group it is type A, you see that here agglutination is seen, indicating that they are of blood group A. And if antibody B is causing agglutination, you see that it is antibody B. And if both the things are getting agglutinated, it indicates that the person blood group is AB. So we have A, B and AB blood groups determination done. Next you also have tube agglutination tests which are done. The serum containing antibodies, it is diluted with the saline in a serial way, and then it's added to several test tubes which have constant volume of antigen suspension, and even a control tube is kept. The tubes are they are incubated until some visible precipitation is seen, or agglutination is seen, and the tubes having highest agglutination, they are referred to as the titer value. Tube agglutination, it is employed for serological diagnosis of typhoid, brucellosis and typhus fever. Viral test is used for estimation of typhoid fever. In this test, antibody content of the patient's serum is measured by adding a constant amount of antigen of Salmonella typhi to the serially diluted serum. The next test that we will be dealing with is complement fixation test. We know that we have complement system which comprises of more than 11 proteins which get activated in a cascade manner, and these are thermolabile components, that is, they can be denatured by heat. And complement proteins, they get activated only when antigen antibody complex is formed. So here, when antigen antibody complex is formed, the antibody Fc component has a complement binding site which gets exposed, leading to activation of complement system in a series, and it results in a series of reactions that will fix the complement. So here the fresh serum which is having this thermolabile component which is called as the complement system, okay, it can also lyse the RBC which is used here in these particular reactions. So there are several stages in which these complement fixation tests are done. In the first stage, what they do is they take the test antigen and the anti-serum. So initially the anti-serum, it is heated to 56 degrees centigrade to inactivate the complement which is present in the serum. Then these two are mixed, and to this a known amount of complement protein is added, and it is incubated at 4 degrees centigrade for 18 hours. If antibody specific for the antigen is present in the serum, then definitely antigen antibody complex will be formed, and this antigen antibody complex will activate this complement protein to get fixed up. So what you have is antigen antibody complex plus complement system which is fixed to that particular antigen antibody complex. And in the second stage, they add this indicator system. Here the indicator system that is used is sheep RBC plus antibodies raised against this sheep RBC which is called as the hemolysin. Here, if the patient's serum is having antibody, then definitely the complement which is added here, it gets fixed up. And even if you add this sheep RBC plus antibodies against it, they agglutinate, but since complement is not available, it is fixed already here. Since it's not available, the sheep RBC will not be lysed. And if sheep RBC are not lysed, it indicates that the person is positive, which means the person is having antibodies against that particular antigen of interest. And coming to the other one, if the patient has no antibodies, so how will we know negative result? If the patient has no antibodies, then obviously there is no antigen antibody complex formed. Here, even when you are adding complement, the complement will not get fixed. So obviously free complement is available, and when you add sheep RBC plus the antibodies to it, they agglutinate, and when you add complement, the available complement here, it will bind to the sheep RBC, causing lysis of RBC. So lysis of RBC indicates negative result, that is the person doesn't have antibodies against the antigen. So this slide is a summary of it. So positive serum and the negative serum. So initially what we do is we take the preheated serum where complement is denatured. Then take the antigen of interest, the purest form of the antigen of interest. Then take the known amount of complement. You mix these things and incubate. You see that antigen antibody complex is formed and therefore complement gets fixed. Now when you add the indicator system, that is sheep RBC plus antibodies of sheep RBC, they agglutinate. But since complement is already consumed over here, there is no lysis of RBC which is taking place. No hemolysis, no red color in the tubes. Indicating that yes, the person is positive. The person has antibodies against the antigen. Now coming to the negative. The person is not at all infected, so they don't have antibodies. You take the antigen and you add this complement, but since antibodies are not there, free complement is there. Now we add the indicator system, sheep RBC with the antibodies. Yes, they agglutinate, but because of the presence of the free complement over here, this complement will get fixed and it will lead to lysis of RBC, and this hemolysis will give you this color, indicating that the test is negative. So we have dealt agglutination reactions and complement fixation tests. Thank you.